Good evening from Kenya, Nairobi. This is our fourth episode at Papa School International, but this is our first episode of 2026. Welcome back to Papa School. Our topic of discussion today is consecrating your 2026, the power of the fast. Today is the first Tuesday of 2026. While the world is talking about New Year, New Me, we are talking about New Year, same God, new depth. Today we are not just planning, we are consecrating. I would like you to understand that consecration isn't a religious burden, it's a spiritual reservation. It's a spiritual reservation, something that you've reserved in the spiritual. Like a reserved sign on a table, it tells the world and even the enemy that your time and your talent are spoken for. Let's reserve this year for the Lord. Our scriptural foundation comes from the primary verse we've been using, Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. It says, God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it, rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, and over every living creature that moves on the ground. I hope by now you're familiar with this verse. I want you to see this clearly. The source. We see, and God blessed them, coming out very clearly. In today's discussion, we view the blessing as the consecration. Notice that the blessing comes before the work. God didn't wait for them to be fruitful before He blessed them. He blessed them so they could be fruitful. If you don't start with consecration, if you don't start with the blessing, you are trying to function without power. You are like a car with no fuel trying to win a race. The second thing I want you to see clearly is the command. Be fruitful. That is our internal character. Be fruitful. Fruitfulness is intended to be internal before it is external. It's about the seed. Consecration ensures your seed is pure. If your heart is full of bitterness or ego, you will multiply bitterness and ego. By giving God your fasts, you ensure the fruit you produce in 2026 is of the Spirit. Remember, we are looking at spiritual empowerment, and we are also looking at spiritual consecration. We are here because we have been consecrated. Many things that have happened to me were happening because I remember there was a moment of consecration. Consecration, we've said, ensures that your seed is pure. Number 3, we clearly see that the expansion, which is multiplying and replenishing, is our impact. Multiplication is the result of a healthy seed. When we consecrate our business or career, God doesn't just give us addition, He gives us multiplication. One consecrated hour of work is more productive than 10 hours that are full of anxiety. That is so beautiful to note, that one consecrated hour of work is more productive and beautiful and precious to hold than 10 anxious hours. That is why the wise man said, spend more time sharpening the axe and spend less time cutting the tree. Number 4, we see clearly that there is the authority. Subdue and have dominion. That is a result. This is a mastery phase. You cannot subdue the world if you haven't subdued your own flesh. Dominion is the outward manifestation of an inward consecration. You rule your industry because God rules your heart. If we could use an example of the cycle of consecration that I drew in a diagram that I'm holding in my book right now, I want you to visualize this. Imagine a circle drawn on a clean paper where everything flows from the center. To take this further, because I want you to digest Genesis chapter 1 spiritually, I want you to take time to reflect on the order we've just discussed. The order I want you to do is, ask yourself, are you trying to subdue your bills and your boss before you've allowed God to bless your perspective? If you're trying to do this, you are doing the verse backwards. Do not try to subdue your bills. Do not try to subdue your boss before you allow God to bless your perspective. That's so powerful to hold. And as you hold that thought, I want you to reflect on the voice. God said to them, so for you, as God said to them for you, let's say this month of January, in the noise of January, can you still hear what He said? He said something over your life. Or all you are hearing is the voice of your to-do list? Is the voice of your to-do list louder than the voice of your mandate? And God said. What did God say to you? Even in this January, I know many people in Kenya call it January. It's a long month. Children going back to school. Job returning to its normal but in a very pressured pace. All these things come at a time when most people have spent their money during the festive season. But it's still a clear voice that is supposed to ring in your ears. God said. Besides the to-do list, let the Lord help you to remember what He said. That voice of the mandate should be louder than the voice of the to-do list. Let me also ask you to look at Proverbs chapter 3 verse 9 to 10. It says, honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing. I want us to know that the first governs the rest. If the first hour of your day belongs to scrolling on social media, you have consecrated your day to comparison, as we all know that social media is full of comparison. If the first thoughts of your year belong to God, you consecrate the year to revelation. Oh, beautiful. If the first thoughts that you thought about this year were about God, and the first thoughts you have every day before you just enter your day activities belong to God, you have consecrated yourself to revelation. Let me tell you a story I labeled the image of success. A few years ago, I found myself in a season where on the outside I was subduing and dominating. My calendar was full, my projects were moving, and people were coming to me for advice, for strength, and for solutions. I was a church leader. I was the go-to person. I looked like a flourishing garden, but inside, I was a desert. I even was the prayer leader of my church. I remember sitting in my car one Tuesday evening after a long day of serving. I was physically exhausted, but more than that, I felt spiritually bankrupt. I had spent the whole day giving, but I had realized that I've been giving from a cistern, not a well. You see, a cistern is just a tank that holds water you've collected. It's limited. Once you use it up, it's gone. But a well is connected to a deep underground spring. It never runs out because it isn't dependent on the rain. It's dependent on its connection to the source. I had been running on the rain of last year's breakthroughs and the rain of people's compliments, but the rain had stopped and I was scraping the bottom of the barrel. I was trying to fulfill Genesis chapter 1:28 mandate. I was trying to multiply and replenish everyone else while my own soul was bone dry. Look at that. I was trying hard, trying to be there, trying to appear strong, and I was trying to multiply. But at that, I realized that my own soul was drying and drying and drying and drying up. The breaking point came when I tried to pray, but all I had were to-do lists. I tried to lead, but all I had was noise. I realized that I had bypassed consecration. I had jumped straight to the work without honoring the source. I was like a professional athlete trying to run a marathon while being severely dehydrated. I had the gear, I had the track, but I had no life. I even remember I would wake up and jump out of bed the last 10 minutes of the day, and then be out of the house in the next 15 minutes. No prayer, no breakfast, no hugging my spouse, no praying for my kids. One, work, 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 work. There was only one thing in my mind: work. But you could see that I'm empty. That night I had to stop. I had to tell God, I cannot subdue a world that I am currently being crushed by. The world was crushing me. But my truth to God led me to my freedom. I realized that consecration is the act of digging your well deeper until you hit the spring. Oh, hallelujah. It's the moment you say, Lord, I will not give another drop of water to my business, my family, or my dreams until I am reconnected to you. I stopped working for a blessing. I started waiting on the one who blesses. I started finding time before leaving my bed to just consecrate my day. My thoughts were all directed to one thing. If I'm not going with your presence, Lord, if your presence is not going with me, I am not going. As you listen to this, are you an empty well? Are you scraping the bottom of your personality, your caffeine intake, and your sheer willpower just to get through the first week of January? If you are, because you've forgotten that you don't produce the water, you just host the spring, today is the day we stop pumping and we start connecting. You don't produce the water, just connect to the source. Let's read Proverbs chapter 3 verse 9 again about first fruits. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruit of all your crops. Giving God the first of your time is how you keep the well connected to the spring. I want you to stop right now. Look at your calendar for the week. Look at your fasts. Who gets the first of your energy? Is it your boss, your anxiety, your children, or your creator? The new day, the new month, the new year is a clean slate, a gift from God. A gift from God. And that is why another verse says, He gives us His mercies and renews His mercies to us every morning. Here is what I propose. I want to propose 3 dimensions of consecration for this week. Number 1, consecrate your ears. Who are you listening to, especially in the morning? Who are you listening to? Filter the noise. Cut the noise. Number 2, consecrate your hands. What are you building? Is it a Tower of Babel for your name? Or is it an altar for God's name? Number 3, consecrate your feet. Are you running a race that isn't yours? Or are you running God's race? Are you showing up the way God wants you to show up? Or are you showing up the way you want to show up? I want us to venture into a short declaration as we finish. Say with me, I declare that my 2026 is not my own. I am a steward of the mandate. I consecrate my fasts, that is my time, my talent, my treasure. I consecrate all this to the one who gave them. Let's repeat. I declare that my 2026 is not my own. Let it go into your soul. I am a steward of the mandate. I consecrate my fasts, my time, my talent, and my treasure to the one who gave them to me. If this resonated with you, I want you to comment consecrated on the LinkedIn post or the YouTube comments or the Spotify comments. Let's hold each other accountable to the first things. I'm available to pray with you or listen to you. Feel free to inbox me and I will respond. Be patient with your journey. I am waiting to celebrate with you. Share with me your small wins and I will celebrate you with the world in the presence of God. Have yourselves a blessed evening. Every day on Tuesday evening and every day on Friday evening, we will be meeting for such beautiful discussions. See you soon. Shalom.